Chase here. I've been looking on YouTube and looking for Dillon SL900 videos, and there are very few, so I thought I would start off with making one myself. One of the things I wanted to bring up is it took a lot of thought and process and time to get to the Dillon 900. I originally started off with a Lee Loadall, great little plastic loader. Well, that's pretty good little loader. It does the job, but it's pretty slow and time intensive. So I kept that, and then I bought a Hornaday, the Phillips 366. When Hornaday bought them. And I played around with that. I sent it back to the factory a couple of times. It was used when I bought it, trying to get it all dialed in, and had a major time getting it really dialed in and working properly. So, out shooting with my trap buddies, they all said, oh, you got to use the Mick 9000. It is the best. Well, I bought the Mick 9000, and all along, my wife said, you bought a Dillon for your pistol reloading. Why aren't you buying another Dillon for your shot shell reloading? I said, oh, I just don't want to spend the money. I think there's other, machines that are equally as good. Well, I bought the Mick, and out of the box, I had problems with it. The 9000 in. And I called Hornaday. They were really great. I call Mick, and they're really great customer service. I have to say, all Hornaday, Mick, Dillon, all have really good customer service. And so they said, well, it's probably this. They sent me some parts. That didn't work. Finally, I just sent the dadgum thing back to them. And at that time, I was just a little frustrated with it, so I let them repair it. And then once I got it home, I just decided, am I going to mess with this or not? And I decided not to. So a buddy of mine called me that travels to muzzleloading shoots quite often in Arizona. He says, hey, I'm going by Dillon. You want me to pick up anything? And so after a little talk with my wife, I said, hey, pick me up a SL900, and let's see how well that works. This is the SL900 I bought. And what a product. Out of the box, I was making all my shells. They all worked. The folds were good. Everything seemed to work right out of the box that I didn't get out of the Mick. Also, the case feeder, nice. It really works very, very well. So, I have to say that, yes, it was way more money. Was it worth it? I should have bought it the first time. Have I had any problems with it? Yeah, I have. I shoot quite a bit of trap during the weekends. I've got a group I shoot with. Not really competitively yet, but we're shooting a lot. We're shooting wobbles and trap. And so, yeah, I reload a lot of shells. Is it cheaper to reload shotgun shells? Yeah, very little. You don't save much money on them these days, especially with the price of lead going up. But you know what? I get a consistent shell every time, and that's what I'm looking for, and that's what helps you become a better shooter. So I decided to stick with my 900. It works phenomenal. It's got a medium size powder holder. You can buy one that's quite a bit taller. I didn't do that just because I thought, hey, I'm gonna watch it anyway. It's right in front of my nose, so I should be able to see what's going on with it. The shot loading part of it over here is very good. You can put up to 25 pounds in it. I put over 25 pounds in it, and it held up and worked very, very well. Yes, has there been some problems? A few. And are those problems Dillon's problems? No, they're my problems. I'm the moron that didn't watch what I was doing, and I broke parts. But I have to say, every time I've called Dillon and said, hey, I broke this part, they have graciously sent me the new part free of charge. So, customer service wise, I think they're great. You know, the last time I called them, I said, hey, you know what? I broke my priming there's a priming bar in there that slides back and forth. And I said, I broke it. It's my fault. You know, hey, let's do this. Don't, charge me, send me 3 of them, charge me for them, and I'll gladly pay because this isn't Dillon's fault. And I'll tell you, the guy goes, oh no. And I said, yeah, that I just want to be upfront with you. And so he says, okay, it'll be $17 or whatever that dollar was. I get this bag box from Dillon, and it's got, of course, my 3 primer arms, and it's got specialty springs that probably he goes you'll need. He sent me just a bunch of extra parts, saying these are the parts we see that break. We just want to give them to you up front. So I gotta say, Dillon is definitely one of the best out there. I can't complain with Mech or Hornaday. They've treated me well. I just don't think that some of their products are up to the Dillon product and quality. Along with that, I made some things to make my shell reloading a little easier. And one of the things I did was I created a shell board. And the shell board basically has the shells that I typically reload, along with their primers and their sizes. And the reason you need to know that is because in this day and time, primers range from .245 to .247 to 240. There's just a gamut of different sizes. So when I go to reload these different shells, I know what primers I'm going to need, because on the bottom I've got a little chart and it says for this size use this brand of primer. So I would tell you, if you're seriously about getting into reloading and shot shells, make one of these. It makes your life a lot easier. I'll tell you, I really have narrowed down from all this group down to really about 3 shells that I reload. I'll reload others, but those are the primary ones. And that's, of course, the Federal, who I think makes a great shell. It's good. And so I reload that quite a bit. I reload several of the Federals because there's different products within their lines that are equally as good. I shoot the club here. I've reloaded these 7 times and they've stayed together. So there's some really good ones. Of course, the Federals I always reload, and I reload the double A's. Double A's are great products. But you know what? I have to say the Federal I'm finding is lasting almost as long as the double A's. So think about, what you're reloading and what you're getting into. It's a lot of fun, and I have to say that it's my solace. I come out here and turn on the music and just crank out my shells I'm going to shoot. And it's kind of my personal time in my little hole out here in the garage. But I have to tell you, if you're really thinking about getting into reloading, Dillon is the best. I have to say that. It really is the best. It's a great product. One of the great things about Dillon is there's a lot of aftermarket upgrades. And as you go through and you start doing this more and more, you'll find that you'll want to upgrade your Dillon. And there are a few upgrades that I have on order. One is the primer chute, and it shoots the primer down below the bottom of your stout case here, and puts it in a big container. What I find is when I do a lot of reloading, that primer little case that they do, this little thing right here, fills up really quick. So I try not to, I try to watch it, but when you screw up and one of those doesn't fall into the chute, it jams up the machine. So I have to say the primer chute's one of the best things that I've got on order. Also, I am buying the there's a upgrade right here on the Dillon, your advancer that's got a ball bearing on it. And so it just makes it a little smoother. I have one on my 650 and it works phenomenal. I'm got a powder adjustment knob on order, and I have that on my 650 also. It works great. There are just a lot of different little things you can do to make your life a little bit easier with a Dillon. Now I know they're making those other products for the other machines, and you know what? I'm not gonna say that any of the other machines aren't good machines. They just didn't work well for me and for my applications. So I hope I've given you a little enlightenment, and I hope you enjoy it. You know, spread this around a little bit. I'll be doing a lot more on the upgrades and a lot more on just reloading. Hey, thanks. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Don't forget to subscribe down below.